Hey everybody, welcome to Touchdown BC. My name is Ryan Sullivan and we've got a tremendous show on the way for you once again today. We're going to start things out with the high school story as we enter the final week of play in the Subway Bowl and a huge dog has been knocked out of the fight. Our Grey Cup panel is here to break down the 102nd CFL Championship game that kicked off this past weekend in Vancouver. We'll then take a look at the CIS Championship, the 50th annual Vanier Cup between MCMASTER and Montreal. If we have some time, we'll throw a new Jay Prepchuk quarterback drill at you. And then if we have even more time, we'll rerun some old episodes of Crown Countdown U. It's a fantastic show. We probably won't have enough time though. Nonetheless, let's head out to the park to find out how last weekend shook down in BC high school football. St. Thomas More and Mount Douglas from Thunderbird Stadium at UBC. First score of the game goes to Terrell Jana. On the QB keep, he says thank you very much as he picks up 14 and waltzes it home. STM by 7 with 5 on the board in the first. Say Faranu then scampers one through the blitz. Just moments later for Mount Doug, we've got a tie ball game after 1Q. Just before halftime, and Terrell Jana lobs one up to the end zone, and Bellini's are on special. That's Lucas Bellini pulling it down. It's 13-7 STM. However, inside a minute left in the first half, and Jana tosses a pick. Faranu with his second major of the game. We've got ourselves a tie ball game. Mount Doug getting last laugh here in the third with a run right down the can. No problem there. 23-13, your final. Mount Douglas advances. They are heading to their fourth straight AAA Subway Bowl championship. Who will they face? Well, let's take a look at that board. Yeah, don't rub your eyes. It's true. South Delta knocked off the mighty Terry Fox by a score of 16-13. Let's move things over now to AA. Mission will face John BARSBY in the final. Quick note about that Mission game, though. Roadrunners quarterback Jesse Walker rushed the ball 24 times for 338 yards, and get this, 8 touchdowns. While Bellina's running back Colton LaPlante decided he'd do a little better. Finished the day with 59 rushes, 442 yards, and again, 8 touchdowns as well. Absolutely nuts. The final will be a rematch of the 2011 AA final where Mission beat the most recent defending champs BARSBY 16-12. All right, let's take a look now at your Subway Bowl awards. AAA was dominated by Terry Fox, your player of the year, Mike West, your offensive MVP, Connor McKee, while on defense, the most valuable player, Isaiah Stevens. Meanwhile, over in AA, the player of the year goes to Mission's Jesse Walker, and this is not including the playoff performance that he just put up. The offensive MVP, Zach Kronbauer out of Vernon, while the defensive MVP, Cole Vertanen out of John BARSBY. All right, congratulations to the Subway Bowl award winners. We welcome in the winner of our hearts, DINO GEREMIA. Every week, our BC High School football insider. Now let's get to the games. Why don't we start things out with AAA, because AA, that's where most of the major marquee headlines come from, I think. But nonetheless, South Delta over Terry Fox, that's a huge headline in itself, 16-13 the final.
I don't think too many people would have predicted that, but congratulations to South Delta. They came out, they played tough. And, you know, despite the weather and the field, really played a game, executed well, took advantage of mistakes that Terry Fox made on a couple of occasions, kept the game real close, and came out victorious.
Now, why don't we jump on Mount Douglas over St. Thomas More. Now, you made a prediction last week, if I'm not mistaken. I lost money over the weekend on different wagers. I should have made a bet with you last week, so I should have done. But nonetheless, Mount Douglas 23, STM 13.
Well, apologies to Mount Douglas. And I ended up running into a bunch of the family and friends just before the Grey Cup, so I did eat a little crow. But again, they're the champions. They do a great job. Every time you think that they may be a little bit to be taken for, they came out and played a great game executing. And I think what we have in the championship is two teams that have really taken on the personalities of their coaches. And both Mark Townsend at Mount Doug, just an outstanding teacher, very organized, execute, efficient, and you see that in their play. And then Ray Moon at Mount Doug, tough old lineman, willing to go through the wall for him, his team, and an ex-prison guard. So he brings that toughness to his team, and I think you're going to see both of those personalities come through in their teams when we see them on Saturday.
Mount Doug has won the last 3 years in a row. Do you care to venture a prediction now that you're riding this hot streak?
No, I think we should touch on AA.
Sounds good. It's a safe bet right there.
But I just had to mention that in the AA game between Mission and Bolinas, what an outstanding offensive game. Both Jesse Walker and Colton LaPlante, just a showcase of high school football and high school football players. It was back and forth. I really enjoyed watching the game. Would have liked to see a little bit more defense as a defensive coach, but just had to appreciate the efforts on both those teams to just keep coming back and the resiliency. So looking forward to the final. It's going to be a tough one with Mission playing Bolinas. They've met each other before. So it's
John BARSBY.
John BARSBY and Bolinas. John BARSBY and Mission playing in the final. And they've met each other before, and I think this is going to be a great showcase of what football in BC is all about.
At the very start of the year, we were talking about parity throughout the league, and could we see somebody? Cause we kind of predicted a final back in week 1 of the 2 top dogs in both tiers. How do you think things turned out? It's nice to see some different names in there. Yeah,
for sure. South Delta. First year at AAA, so again, outstanding on them. The one thing to remember is they're not new to a BC championship. They have been there at the AA level, so they have played the extended season. They've been through playoffs. I think that although they're new to the AAA, they've been there before. So it's great to see them come through. And even though we see a lot of the familiar faces in the final, we do see some great games leading up to it and forcing those teams to do well.
All right, now as we always do, let's check in the latest happenings surrounding football BC.
Looking forward to next weekend, December 13th, bringing the grade 8 and the U18 teams together for a one-day camp, getting some practices in, really tuning up for our games at the Tanoa Bowl in Auburn, Washington. So looking forward to getting the coaches and the players together and really getting ready for that top competition that we're going to see in Washington and a team from Hawaii.
There you go. Most football schedules are coming to an end, but it's never coming to an end at Football BC. Always busy. His name's DINO GEREMIA. He's our BC High School football insider. The 102nd Grey Cup got rolling in Vancouver this past Sunday. The Hamilton Tiger Cats wore their visiting whites, while the Calgary Stampeders donned their home game reds. Let's join the CFL Grey Cup panel now of Jim Mullen, Andrew Wadden, and myself. It's Jim Mullen on the far side, it's Andrew Wadden in the middle, and now let's talk 102nd Grey Cup. Calgary coming out on top, 20-16, a very entertaining game in-house. But let's talk about the entertainment leading up to the game, Jim. Did you really feel it throughout the city? Was there a real championship vibe?
I think the big mistake that was made with this Grey Cup is that the last one that was here was 2011. And I think in a bigger city like a Vancouver or a Toronto or even a Montreal, you need about 5 to 7 years, preferably in about 7 years between the two games to really build energy, have some sort of longing for it. And quite frankly, a lot of the fans that travel from cup to cup to cup might have taken this one off because, you know, they were already out in Vancouver a couple of years ago when the Vanier Cup was paired up with the Grey Cup game. So I think it helped them a little bit that Calgary was in. I think a lot of those unclaimed tickets were swept up by Calgary Stampeders fans. They do travel fairly well, not as well as Saskatchewan Roughriders fans, but no, there wasn't the energy in the city from years past, even though they followed a fairly similar template for the Grey Cup Festival that rolled through the week. I mean, I worked on that Grey Cup committee in 2011. I know that they tried to do some different things in terms of the organization by taking it in-house with the BC Lions, and they had very few in terms of outsiders working on the deal. I think that kind of hurt them in terms of exposure in the build-up to the game. But you know, at the end of the day, when people tuned on to their TVs, that was a full stadium, and there was a good feel in the house, and it was a national championship, and it was a game that was a good game, maybe not a great game, but an ending that people will talk about for years to come.
Yeah, and we touched on the atmosphere outside the stadium. We touched on the atmosphere inside the stadium. Andrew, you and I had the pleasure of going to the game this past weekend. What were your thoughts going into the game, like the pregame ceremonies and just the crowd and the atmosphere environment in there?
I found it to be a little tempered throughout the week. I think it was a slow rise, and I think what Jim just said about the Calgary Flames Calgary fans coming in here and kind of bring things up for the game itself, because you didn't really know around town that things were going on. Yeah, they had banners down around town, downtown, but really it was a slow rise. And then once it came here, it seemed like things sort of started to pick up momentum. Of course, once we got to the game, that's when you really felt it. Yeah. It did feel like a Grey Cup, and I mean, I'm going to say I've been only one, and it was this past weekend, but that was the energy that I was expecting and looking for. And when you got in there, you didn't really know that it wasn't going to be close to a sellout or whatever they were saying. It felt like a sellout, and the fans really got behind it, and those Calgary fans were really supportive, but there was some really good Hamilton contingents there as well, kind of in smaller pockets throughout. But where we were sitting, it was almost 50-50, really. And it was really good to see that they actually pulled off something that, you know, maybe through leading up into it, some people were questioning whether it was going to go off without a hitch. And I think it did. Yeah,
and actually at the game, there were two fans sitting near us in Calgary Flames jerseys.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's what we're alluding to. And also, if you're watching, you know who you are. There was a fan in the upper deck wearing an Argonauts jersey and a Ticats hat. That cannot happen.
You spontaneously combust when that happens.
He's mentioned it about 3 or 4 times after the game. He kept mentioning it. Yeah. But only in Canada do you see fans at a football game wearing like Team Canada hockey jerseys, and as you said, the Flames as well. It's, I mean, it's how you can't escape it, right? We are in Canada. So.
Well, let me ask you guys here just for a second. This was your first kind of Grey Cup experience. In terms of the Canadiana factor of it all, and to see how everybody gets along. This is no Vancouver hockey riot scenario here. I mean, how did you absorb it all in terms of it being a unique event?
I mean, I thought that's one of the things that I really took from the game, that I really enjoyed. I mean, Canada is known for its multiculturalism and people coming together. And, you know, at this game, everyone there was just a fan of the game, you know. And you could really tell, I mean, they wore it on their sleeves, literally. There was different jerseys all over the stadium. And it seems like every other game that I've been to, every other sport and venue, you would never in a million years see fans wearing jerseys of teams that have nothing to do, that were eliminated a month ago. You know, but it was really cool to see from that aspect.
Yeah, and I found too that, you know, I grew up in Toronto, so I have you know, a soft spot for the Argonauts, and so I can't cheer for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I mean, that's just how it goes. I found myself, and of course we had a little wager on it. We made it fun because either of our teams were invested and they're involved in this. But I got into it as a Calgary Stampeders fan that night. And then, of course, you know, it was just something to cheer about. And I felt, you know, like I was a Stamps fan at that point. And it was really cool to see, though. You're right. I mean, where else do you go to see other jerseys? I mean, you do see it at the Super Bowl, though, as well.
Well, of course.
And then you do see it, I know when the NFL goes to England, you see a lot of the fans there wearing their team's jerseys, regardless of whether they're playing or not. But it was a great atmosphere. And you know, really, everybody coming together like that, it did. It felt like a real slice of Canadiana.
Yeah.
Say it eloquently.
Yeah, why don't we touch on the game now, Jim? Bo Levi Mitchell taking home the MVP, but the big story in this game was the block at the end, the penalty from Taylor Reed, Brandon Banks taking it all the way 90 yards to the house and then just disappearing to the last minute of this football game?
Well, the Taylor Reid penalty was unfortunate, but it was a penalty. And I think in typical Canadian fashion, there were a lot of people that took to social media and the call-in shows afterwards and said, well, that was a bad time to throw a flag. Football is not hockey. If it's a penalty at any time of the game. In a hockey game, yeah, we know that the ref will put the whistle away in the third period or in an overtime. It doesn't work that way in football. So, you know, if it's a clip, it's a safety issue. It's definitely a hit that should not have happened. I think Banks would have taken it to the house regardless of that contact. And it's unfortunate that the game was essentially decided on a flag. Banks should have been out there, though, in those final 40 seconds. He was too busy crying and pouting on the sidelines about his missed opportunity to go out there and create another opportunity again, and he was their biggest deep threat on the day. When you've got a defense that's playing in prevent and is lining 30 to 35 yards off the ball, a guy like that with that sort of size can get open and do some damage. Instead, he was doing damage to his own team by being in a funk on the sidelines.
This is the Grey Cup panel. It's Jim Mullen and Andrew Wadden, and they will be back a little while later on in the show. Do we have more time on the show? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, sure we do.
Yeah, exactly. They'll be back to talk Vanier in just a bit. All right, now before we head back to that good-looking panel, the 50th annual Vanier Cup kicked off at Percival Molson Memorial Stadium this past Saturday in Montreal, Quebec. The McMaster Marauders made their third trip in 4 years to the big dance. They won the trophy back in 2011, while the Montreal Caravan are making their first ever trip to the CIS Final Tango. Montreal had the hometown crowd in attendance, but would it be the difference? Let's head out to one of Canada's most beautiful cities to find out. Welcome to the Purse, ladies and gentlemen. Percival Molson Memorial Stadium, the Montreal Caravan. Thanks to the standings, we're not the home team in this one, but really, who are we kidding? Yes, they were. They were taking on Marshall Ferguson and the Mac Marauders. After a Caravan 2-and-out to start the game, Ferguson puts up a floater and finds Max Cameron with an unreal grab down the sideline, giving the Mac offense some cushy field position. They could not capitalize, however, so in comes Tyler Crapina, and the best kicker in league history puts the first points on the board. After another Montreal 2-and-out, Ferguson forces one up down the sideline. That's ruled a pick by Anthony Cody. Upon further review, his legs, they come down out of bounds. Nonetheless, it's still blue ball. With that possession, the Mac D again comes up huge as Jonathan Nagleka picks up one of his 3 sacks this postseason, one of Mac's 6 sacks on the day. After a switch of possession, what could Mac do? Well, Ferguson finds Cameron down the sideline. He then gives a little flip pass to Danny Van der Voort for 8 yards, and he then hits Ben O'Connor. No! It's the Vanier Cup, brother. Get those hands working. Make that catch. It would result in another Tyler Crapina triple, and we're looking at a 6-0 scoreboard to end the first quarter.
I'm not on vacation yet, Ryan. Let me get in there. Second cue, Montreal marching. Gabriel Cousineau to Regis Sibassou. He juggles the leather, puts the Caravan deep in Mac's zone. However, they could only muster a 3-banger out of it. Mac, lead now cut in half. But that wouldn't last long. Next Mac possession, Wayne Moore goes off. He majors in art history, and that run was both artistic and will go down in the history books. Mac ups its lead to 10. Next possession for them, Moore takes a low hit right in the ditka. Pigskin pops loose, MTL recovers. The junior would leave the game, but Montreal would do nothing with the turnover, so we head into the halftime with Mac up 13-3.
After a brief exit in the second cue with a suspected lower body injury, Wayne Moore returns for the second half. The crowd ready to rock, and Mac getting the first chance to strike. However, on the kick return, the rock slips loose. Right out of the tiger grip of Isaiah Mells, Montreal recovers, and the momentum pendulum swings towards the blue. Cousineau's third toss of the drive, he hits Mikkel Davidson. His fourth toss, he hits Mikkel Davidson. Then his fifth toss finds Philippe Anchille, and Montreal has their first touchdown of the day. The hometown crowd going absolutely nuts. The collegiate crowd not really getting a chance to cheer at McGill this year. There were definitely noise complaints on this day, though. It's 13-10 Mac. Mac right back. Marshall Ferguson hits Danny Van der Voort, who then snipes Dallin Brooks for a first down. A nice little dose of trickery. Ferguson then goes to Wayne Moore for a pickup of 7 yards, enter Tyler Krapina, and while it wasn't the sexiest lead in football, another field goal hits the board and the Marauders go up by 6. A few possessions later, and Ferguson looking deep for Mells, and nothing doing. No laundry hits the field. It looked like a bit of contact. Nothing happening. Ferguson on second, then doinks the upright next to the Rouge. That's got to be the most Canadian football play on earth. It would result in another Tyler Krapina triple, and Mac led by 9 after 3 quarters.
So to the 4th we go, and it doesn't start out right for Ferguson. He looks sideline, but not one maroon jersey is in sight. Cody comes down with the pick. This one, however, is truly legit as he gets both feet in bounds. Cousineau and Sibassou then would go to work. The freshman makes an unreal grab. The defender draped all over him. That leads to this 3-yard major from Sean Thomas Erlington. Mac lead now just down to 2. A few minutes later, Cousineau from his own 39 connects with Mikhail Davidson, who plays a little leapfrog with the defender. First down, MTL. 2 plays later, Sibassou with the reception, and yet another first down. Very next play, Philippe Anchille makes the grab, and you guessed it, another first down. Next play, it's Sibassou once again, but after driving 65 yards on 9 plays, they only get 3 out of it. But Montreal is now in the lead for the first time in the game. Just over 2 minutes to go, Mac goes back to Moore. He takes it 24 yards to the Montreal 33, well within Krapina's range. They get it down to 3rd and inches. Mac decides to go to the most prolific kicker in CIS history instead of going for it. After already hitting 4 field goals on the day with the game on his foot.
Snap is good, and the kick is blocked. The kick is blocked by Montreal, and the Canadiens are 51 seconds away from their first Vanier Cup title.
Oh my goodness, can you believe that? Mathieu Girard somehow gets his body on the ball. Was it shanked? Was it blocked? That's irrelevant, as it didn't go through the uprights. Montreal is now less than a minute away from its first Vanier Cup title, but they would need to get at least 1 more first down. So on 3rd and inches from their own 33, they go for it.
On the line, Cousineau, did he get it? Did he get it? First down, Canadiens.
Danny Machocha can feel it now, and he feels this. The Gatorade shower for the first head coach to win both a Grey Cup and a Vanier Cup. The Ted Morris Award goes to Sibassou, while Anthony Cody won the Ted Coulter. Then it was time to host the big one. Montreal wins its first Vanier Cup in school history, narrowly escaping with a 20-19 victory. In what will surely go down as one of the greatest finishes in Vanier Cup history, what a way to finish what was a spectacular CIS football season. Both QBs put in great performances in the game, while Sibassou made every scout turn their head with what was a dynamic performance from the first-year receiver. So that's a wrap for the 2014 campaign, and what a final game it was to cap off this fantastic season.
All right, last week we took a look at body control when throwing the football, where to face, and how to release. Let's keep our positional progression going as we head back out to UBC to meet up with Handsworth Royals head coach, Jay Prepchuk.
The important part about this drill right here is the 2 quarterbacks going to run down the line together, and they're going to throw the ball back and forth to each other. This is a really good example of that we want to make sure that we're not running here and throwing across our body and finishing this way. We want to finish towards the target. So we're going to ask the player to initially bubble out of there, come, go towards, finish up on his toe, finish that way, okay? Complete the finish. Lucas is going to do the same on that side. He's going to make sure that he bubbles. Okay, so Mihai will throw another run, go slowly here, nice and easy. Okay, go attack, come back. Good, there you go. Good. Group of 3, here we go. Theo, you're the first thrower in a group of 3. Okay, so Lucas, you stand there. Okay, throw around. Yeah, go around him. Yeah, go around him. Good. Now we're getting used to 3 and figure 8. Come under him. Come under him. Yeah. Good. Ball up. Excellent. Good. Nice high release. Nice. Great job. There you go. Good. Catch your head up. Keep your head up. I like it. Get your tray up. Good. Great job of bringing the ball back there, Theo. Nice. Okay, make sure that, again, you can see Theo's doing a figure 8 here, so he's throwing as if he's throwing to his left. He's figuring it the other way, and
Jim, I got somebody for you.
going the other way. Okay, make sure you figure 8. Theo, go around. Yeah, that's it. Throwing to his right. Good. Figure 8 underneath. Good, and throwing to his left. Now, one of the key parts about rolling out in a sprint out passing game is that we want to make sure that, again, that very first step is crucial. So as we're setting up in a good quarterback stance, we want to put the pressure on our left toe as we're rolling out to our right hand side. That very first step is essential here. So working off a clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, we want to make sure that we don't roll out initially too flat. We're rolling out too flat, we're going to end up, again, throwing the ball across our body. So we want that very first step to be at 6 o'clock right here. Okay, so as we open up to 6 o'clock, so we're 6 o'clock first step, continue the rollout, ball is up, ready to throw. Our eyes are focusing down the field on our read. We don't want to be looking down here. We want to be rolling out. We don't want to worry about the rush. We're going to assume right now that we've broken contain, that we've gotten to the outside as we start to roll out. Now, guys, I want you to make sure you really focus on rocking the ball, not up and down, but sideways. That's going to help your momentum in you running. Roll out, roll out, roll out. As you get around the edge now, as you get around the edge, you're going to start to work downfield, put everything together that we just did, throw from the toe, coming downfield, not drifting off and throwing this way, coming towards the target, throwing from the toe, throw from the toe, come down and finish all the way down and through in this. So once you make that throw, you should finish right towards Liam, okay? Come back and get your ball and do it all over again, okay? Here we go. There you go, up, up. Good, slow down a little bit. Slow down just a little bit, get a breath. Okay, your eyes are up. Focus, focus, good. Good, nice. Good, now, what we'll do right now to get a little bit of pressure going here, we'll have a little bit of a chase drill here. This is new, you might not have seen this before. So as soon as Mihai says, set hut, we'll just go on one, set hut. Now, no, you move over just a little bit so you're straddling the cone. There you go, he's still doing the same thing. As soon as he moves, Luke is going to try to chase him. Okay, you got to catch him. Okay, you got to go around the cones too. Yes. Okay, so it's the chase drill here. Here we go. Good, chase him. There you go. Got to get him. Get to him. Get to him. Good. Okay, next guy's up. Here we go. Okay, Lucas, you throw, or Lucas, you chase again. Here we go. We'll get you throwing the next one. Good. Chase him down. Good. A little agility. There you go. Good. A little bit of pressure. Okay, Lucas is throwing. Then you got a break after this, Lucas. Okay, Mihai's the chaser. Mihai. Okay, catch your breath there, Lucas. Getting a workout here, bud.
Set, go.
Okay, go chase him down. Chase him down. Good.
All right, that does it for all of us here at Touchdown BC. I'm sorry we didn't have enough time to play some past episodes of Crown Countdown. You check your local listings, though. It's a fantastic show. I'm Ryan Sullivan. Enjoy the Subway Bowl and enjoy your month of December, and I'll see you in 2015.